Hey there guys, Nervous Trading Cards, and today I'm going to give my personal thoughts and opinions so far of the Vanguard 0G update. I've been grinding the game for the past 10 days, and unfortunately, because I did log in like a month or so ago just to check on the game whenever things were starting, I unfortunately didn't get any like the returning player bonuses, so I don't get any extra bonuses that a normal JP player going in would end up playing, even though I basically didn't play the Legion format at all in JP. So that means that I really don't have any good decks going in. Fortunately, however, I have been having a lot of fun playing MLB, and it has been working good so far. In fact, it's even gotten me to rank 10, and I am super excited about that. But I do have the cross almost done as well. I'll probably end up trying to get some Neoflame for it, because Neoflame is still a good card. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to grind materials for Kagura right now, is to get some Neoflames. Probably just like 2, maybe 3. End up seeing, and I may not even need them. It just kind of seems to be however you really want to play the deck. But I could definitely see me wanting to get those so far. But, you know, that being said, let's go ahead and actually take a look at the decks I have so far. Because I do feel like that this is kind of needed, that you do need to take into account a player's card pool when reviewing a game of this nature and their experience with it, and it should be explained. Now, I have been going and trying to pull into some of the Legion packs, since I literally didn't play during Legion at all. I didn't get, even though I didn't get any actual Brawler stuff, except for the first sets, a couple of the first set things, so I do end up having this stuff. Pretty much I only ended up pulling like first set Brawlers. Very incomplete. But if I really want to, since I already have 3 of these, I could probably try to grind for the 4 copy, especially once we get Narukami and G. That way we can double up on character creation materials, which I'll get to in a minute. But I might end up building Brawlers proper, because even though I've only seen a couple of games on it on ladder, I do still think Brawlers is definitively the best deck, probably next to like Bermuda and stuff, because Bermuda still is nasty. While a lot of people are playing solely the Cross and Gear Chronicle and like sometimes Alt Model around them, it's because those are the new things and those are super fan favorites. But I do think, and I think I'm already starting to see this, we will start to see some of the better decks still come out, because Bermuda still stupidly annoying and just grind out the game till a deck out essentially. Narukami, it literally, there's just no way to counterplay unless you can somehow like 0 to 6 them back, and that's things that you have to play playing a deck that can hit them really hard. That's why the best decks that could fight Brawlers were the decks like Kagura and stuff, like Kagura, bringing up decks that can stall out and keep getting all the stuff, things that have lots of resist so that they can't be chosen for Big Bang Knuckles effect. The cross rhyme for getting Big Bang slash Knuckle or something like that. I'm forgetting the name of it off the top of my head. But, you know, the main one. You know, the fact that that deck just, it's CB1, put something in the soul, and it even replaces itself in that you don't nag at all, you just pop 4 of your opponent's guys, and all your guys end up hitting over to the defensives afterwards. It's just, it's insanity. So I do believe that all your good Legion, all the best Legion decks are still going to be really good. I think Dragonute's going to fall behind a bit as even more resist gets added in. I ended up making a video over this list recently, and even though the video turned out to be complete potato dog shit quality, but this is what I've been climbing ladder list. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it was rather easy to upgrade this from what I already had with some of the G stuff already pulled, and the 2 Alfred X's. I actually ended up crafting one because I just wanted to have one, and then ended up pulling another. So yeah, so far this deck's been working out pretty well for me so far. Genesis is just some other stuff. Liberators is, it's still very incomplete. It's basically just the liberate, like the limit break liberators that I pulled to Percival. And yeah, this deck is not nearly anywhere optimized. Although it is actually neat being able to have Gancelot for both Gancelots and Royals and Golds to be a draw trigger now. Because you always kind of were sad when you did draw, in, like, there was always a limited amount of times you could really put them back. And you're always kind of like, do I want to put it back now? Do I want to wait? Because if you put them back too early, you could just end up whiffing them or drawing them again, and yada yada, and that wasn't always the best. But having them as draws, you're like, yeah, I just don't care. And the fact that heal guards are a thing is just so nice, but it is important to note that you can end up missing out on your grades. And let's see, then there's that. I'll go ahead and show off my cross list because I just kind of almost have it done. I'd say this is pretty close to the cookie cutter list. I do have a random base overlord in here right now in place of the fourth to cross. I do really actually like playing the other blade, the one of Blade Master, since we could search it with Stride Father, just because being able to switch up the play style into this if need be, especially if you're not seeing your stuff and you can just search it right out, is very helpful overall. Although I didn't pull crap for G units, and I'm not going, and these are all from the current box I'm in, which is the second box, because I ended up just wanting to pull the Royal and Gear strides, and I didn't pull any of the Kagero strides on my first box. So, you know, I'm sadly only going to have one of these, because I'm not going to another box again. But this deck doesn't really focus on the striding too much. It's mostly a Legion deck, just so happens to have a stride option. But this deck is still very strong and very good. And I already had the For the Ends already, so I just went ahead and, you know, actually, because I only ended up pulling one of the cross up box, I didn't pull any in my first box. I just went ahead and crafted two of the cross, and that's actually another thing I'll get into in a moment, that is crafting and materials, like I said a minute ago. Here's my Gear Chronicle list so far. Sadly, I've only pulled one Steam Breath, but fortunately, the game does give you a Chrono Jet and 4 PG straight for free. I need to check to see if that's a very limited time thing or if that's just a permanent. And I am playing, you know, just whatever else random things I have at the moment. I haven't pulled jack for gears outside of both of my GRs and, you know, the other Chrono Jets, and that's literally about it. But fortunately, since I did get to rank 10 with MLB, I did get this beautiful Chrono Jet here. I love the art. This might be my favorite Chrono Jet art. If not, it's like my second favorite. It's kind of hard to say, but this is definitely up there. I've always loved the shattering glass, like, look of, like, the breaking through. I just love that effect and that art style so much. And moving on to my final deck, that's probably one of my most incomplete / all over the place decks, is Alt Mile. I'm just missing so much from most of these G decks. It's just that the cross already had the base for all that Kagero stuff, so I was able to just kind of slap down there. Same with MLB. Going in here free to play is not very easy at all, mostly because of how they really limited the amount of packs you can get. And on top of that, it seems like you can only get the packs for that month's set during that month. Not confirmed, but it's looking that way, unfortunately, which means that, like, when next month rolls around, you could, if you were to start next month and you want stuff in this set, you could only get it with gems. And there's no way you're going to play 2 boxes with just gems from playing free to play. Thing is, with the systems in play, which I'm about to get into, this game could be extremely free to play, but because of how greedy they are being with how many packs you can open and how many packs and the access to what you can open packs with, the fact that they said, hey, all your old packs can't be used in G. I was against that, but I could almost understand, because I know they knew that they would get a bunch of new players in, and maybe they wanted to say, we're doing this to try and create a little bit more of an equal footing. I think that's stupid, but alright, sure, I'll buy that BS. You know, that's what a lot of people have been saying. Sure, I'll buy that. But then they're like, oh yeah, your G pack, it's kind of just a pack for this set from the looks of it. And here's why. So if, like, we go on ahead and open up our G grade here, you'll end up seeing an exchange bar, which I'll end up showing you. So we got our exchanges here that we can end up going into that will give us exchange for G pack, original pack, and skip tickets, because they're going to be doing more events with skip tickets, fortunately, so that is nice. I only have one left because they only let you exchange for 5 of your pack during your month, which is stupid, but this says pack generation stride. Well, this just says Gacha ticket in general, and you know the set one is called Generation Stride, and this is modeled very much like as if it would be a set specific pack. Unfortunately, like we've had before, which means unless they start giving us generic G packs, which they may, but it's looking like the packs are only going to be this, which means starting next month, all of these could just be replaced and you could just not be able to get into Generation Stride. Or if they do keep everything they currently have available for Generation Stride packs, like in your story and in your lifetime missions and stuff, that means going into next set, you're only going to get like probably like 20 to 30, maybe 40 tops of next set's packs, and it's just going to be gyms you have to go into. But unless you're climbing ladder to win consistently, you're not going to be able to get those gyms, which has been the biggest problem with Zero to begin with, is the fact that you have to win in order to open packs. In order to open packs, you have to win, and in order to win, you need to have good decks. In order to, get those good decks, you have to open packs. And so, yes, I get it's a gacha game, they want you to spend money, but dang, does this suck so bad. But they did add some new changes into the game, which I'm going to go on ahead and get into here, which is the two biggest, of course, being the box system, but the second being the universal crafting materials, which are down here. Some people call them GR materials. I don't know if they actually have a name or not. I haven't really looked into it. But any G series cards, these G series specific cards that you pull 4 or more of, you will instead get a small amount of universal crafting materials. And you can also, if you get an SPG card, it'll also break down the universal crafting materials. Well, you can exchange the universal crafting materials for any clan materials. So that means whenever you're getting, let's say you pulled a playset of, like, your 5th or more of a Gear Chronicle rare, but you're not going to play Gear Chronicle at all. So instead of getting Gear Chronicle mats, you are given the universal materials that over time that you can exchange for for any clan that you do want. So 100 materials for universal will either break down to 30 triple rare materials, 125 double rare materials, or 1,000 single rare materials, which is really good. And that means that if you do your stuff right, you can actually craft your stuff becomes easier to craft, because now it's just what it should have always been. And I kind of wish they just got rid of the clan crafting, but it's kind of baked into the game, and I get why they didn't end up changing it, but it would have ended up being nice. Now the next thing is character fights. Let's go ahead and talk about character fights, because they actually super changed character fights for both G and the amount of materials you got before. Because before, you could just simply get literally no materials. You could just spend all of your stamina and get so little to no materials. Of course, you can get a decent chunk, but they really limited to how many materials you can get. But now with the new change, we get so many materials. Now you are limited to upwards of 10 triple rare materials a day per card shop. So here with Shion here, we end up having, we got our two fights here. We can do a max of 5 a day. We're up to 10 triple rare gems, but this is only for card capital 2. If we go back to card capital 1 and click on Aichi there, we can also do his hard and very hard fights, which is very good, because then that means that you can end up rolling 20 times for triple rare materials, and the very hard is guaranteed, which means that you're guaranteed if you do both of the characters. If a character, or if a clan is in both stores, card capital 1 and card capital 2, you can get a minimum of 10 triple rares a day and upwards of 20, and that's huge. But on top of that, you actually, on very hard, get all of these materials. So a single roll will actually get you 1 triple rare material, 2 double rare materials, and 4 single rare materials. So if you do your 5 roll, you'll end up getting 5 triple rare, 10 double rare, and 20 single rare from that 5 roll. And if you're going straight into just the rare materials, you end up getting 8 single rare materials per roll, which means that if you do a 10 roll on your single rare materials, instead of getting like 13 to 20-ish, which is, on average you're getting like 13 to 15, max of 20, now you just get 80 single rare materials. So what used to be the most pain in the butt part of this grinding for materials is just now gone. The fact that you can then exchange your universal crafting materials for these, because like right now I have 300 or something, right? So I could exchange from 90 triple rare materials if I wanted to, and just have a triple rare ready here. And it's just so good. Now, with G, instead of having the friend fights, or the friend level, you have their little character stories, which you get keys for after you, as part of your drops here for whenever you roll from materials that you can exchange, and you'll get gems and little things like that. However, as I've already done on Chrono, you still, even after you complete it, still keep getting keys. Now, they could add more character stories in the future, and they might, but if they don't, this honestly just seems like a waste of an implementation of a new mechanic. Because I was hoping that, like, once we hit the maximum, like, once we unlock all the stories, that each key you'd get would simply become one universal material. That would have made a lot of sense. But, no, they're just here. So, hopefully in the future we do get more character stories, because if we don't, that's not going to be very fun. But the next big change that I want to talk about that finally gives Zero a bit of a gameplay loop, right, is how they've updated their daily missions and the way that they go about trying to make you play the game actually, because Zero's biggest problem is that it literally had zero gameplay loop. Because before it was you just went in and did your dailies, but your dailies was mostly do a ranked fight, click on some stuff, roll for your materials. That was your entire dailies. You get that done in like 20 minutes. You're not actually playing the game to do your dailies. Now, while we're not here, basically you have your dailies page here, in which case you'll get 3 missions at a time. You can then go off and complete these 3 missions, and as you complete them, they'll end up giving you experience to your G grade. As you max out your G grade, you'll end up ranking up, and it works just like a fighter's grade did originally. So far, I don't know what the cap is on this, but that's what ends up happening. However, you can twice per day use 30 stamina to 16 total to get another 3 missions, so 9 missions in total, to try to increase your gauge here, and that also is what gives you these exchange materials here. But you do still have your daily login throughout the day stamina buffs, and if you complete 3 of your dailies here, you still get your 30 gems. I really wish they would buff this up to 50, because if this gets buffed up to 50, then that means that you at least get a pack every other day by just doing your dailies, and that would be perfectly fine. That would actually help with a lot of the stress alleviation here. Let's see, so this is, alright, so going into here, let's actually look at what the dates are. Alright, so yeah, because this is considered the Start Dash campaign, so you get 5 G packs, 4 of the Arlem and a Chrono Jet, as well as a Fighter's Medal, and 200 gems, and a banner, and a little, I forget what they're called, your little avatar, little sticker. Unfortunately, they've replaced your ability to get free blaster blades with this, and I'm not a big fan of that at all, that they replaced your ability to get free blaster blades, and instead replace it with this time-limited mission for, because these are supposed to be your lifetime missions, and unfortunately they're just like, hey, you got this basically the month of October to complete that, which I guess is fine. But they've also made the super, I didn't actually pay attention to the super deck medals, they also end at the end of this month, so that means that this bonus here for getting a free extra medals is also time limited. Ah, man, this stuff should just be permanent. Like, I don't understand. Like, there should just be... Oh, well, I mean, if they replace it with new stuff and constantly update when this stuff rolls over every month, that will be fine. But I don't trust them to, overall. But that's the big changes to this so far. And I guess we can take a look at the Gacha. I'm sure everyone's seen the Gacha, but, you know, this is just me giving my personal view rather than trying to be, you know, full on, like, hey, here's the big update, because everyone's already done that and done it better. But going in, we end up having, of course, the Gacha here, which you can end up switching between both stores without actually having to leave the world, or the card capital that you're in, which is actually rather nice. Now, here's like my feeling, right? So I have currently 96 packs left in this. I spent 40 packs, it was 30 or 40 packs, I can't remember, in my first box. I ended up pulling both of the Royal GRs and Ragnarok. And so I was like, alright, I'm just going to reset this, because those are the ones I know I'm going to need. And so going into this now, since these are normally 150 packs, it means I spent a little over like 80 to 90, somewhere between 80 to 90 packs so far, being completely free to play. But that also includes all my grading up and playing ranked missions, and the free packs that you get. This will probably most likely go down to you only really realistically being able to do like 40, maybe 50 free packs in a month, which does suck a lot. Because you will need to go through a box at least twice, and assuming that you probably have to spend 100 packs. Like, let's just say that on average, to get what you want, you'll have to spend 100 to 120 packs in a box. That means you're going to be spending about 200 to 250 at least to get whatever deck you want together. On average, I'm just guessing here, based on, you know, to get all the things you want. Now, I'm not trying to build Kagero completely, that's why I didn't go on my way to get Blade Master really together, but I will pull for this just so I can have, like, the cross together, because the deck is still rather solid. But it just comes down to the fact that you start to really hurt to try and get into this, and you won't be able to you will not be able to complete your decks free to play unless you're really lucky within the month that you are given. And that's with them giving all these like Start Dash extra tickets. And unfortunately, that means that we are probably going to struggle even more in future boxes, especially as they release them monthly. Now, as you can see here, this also has this pack next to it, which really helps imply that it looks like that we won't be getting, that this isn't a G pack, and that this is just a Generation Stride pack, and we may not be getting just G Series packs. Now, I know other card games, I think like Shadowverse and Magic Arena, I'm not sure, says, alright, well here's just the latest thing. But those games, I'm pretty sure, don't release monthly sets. I'm pretty sure it's like every few months, if I remember correctly. With Zero doing it every month, it just hurts. It really feels like Zero, what they did is they looked at every other similar kind of like Gacha mobile game, card game, whatever, and took all of like the popular aspects of those things without understanding how to the balancing features that those games end up using to make these things work. Now, this is honestly kind of similar box-wise, I guess, to Duel Links. And in fact, you're actually having less packs than you would in Duel Links, and probably honestly getting about the same amount of free packs that you would in Duel Links. So less packs is good. The problem is that you're all restricted to clans in Vanguard, so you can't just kind of mesh stuff together. And unfortunately, also the fact you'd have to, if you really wanted to play set something, go into a box 4 times over, unlike in Duel Links where you'd have to go into it 3 times over. But on top of that, the main thing is that Duel Links has good starters / structure decks, and yes, you do typically have to spend money on them, but it's like $6 to $10 depending on what you're getting, and you get a really good deck. Here, they want you to spend $20 on half a deck that has already been power crept. Only like 2 or 3 of those decks are even somewhat playable already, and I find that stupid. I get not giving us G Series decks right away, right? But they need to start giving us actual decks. Even if they literally just copied the actual TCG and been like, hey, here you go, here's your stuff. Now, like, with the original trial decks that came out with that were $10, only had one of everything. If those were $5, if they start making basically like $5 TTs, you can get like the first one for free, like Duel Links, then we would at least have it to where you could spend your gems, save gems, spend it on that, and spend like your $10 to $15 to get your 3 to 4 copies of it, and there you go. You're in. And yes, you could even use some of the like the tripwares and below in the set. You don't have to put in the GRs, of course, because that's your chasers for the set. And you don't have to do everything in the set, but at least there should at least be like every few sets coming out a new starter deck. Because like Gear Chronicle, they technically are giving us essentially free stuff with the PGs and the 1 alt mile, but you could have given us like a full-on, like, here's one Chrono Jet, I mean. So you could have been like, alright, 1 PG, 1 Chrono Jet, 1 of the On-Hit, 1 of the Legion, like all the triple rares and below, just like 1 of each of like the decent cards. You don't have to give us all the like the doubles and stuff. Like you could even keep the Stride Fathers in the set, but give us something that can be used cheaply, and that when we put it together, you know, we can have something together that we can go into the box and make it better. Please, that's what I'm not even saying that I shouldn't spend money at all, but we need to make these things the actual micro transactions rather than hey, would you like to just dump a shit ton of money for cards that aren't even really that good, or just for a chance to get your deck complete? And I'm like, no, not really. I've already done that. I've spent hundreds of dollars between Duel Links and Zero over the past like about 7 years now, actually. I spent about, between both of those games, probably about $400 to $500 in the past 7-ish years, which for a person that would spend money on these, I guess isn't a lot. That's still a lot of money over that time, because that meant that I was spending like I was spending somewhere between like $70 to $80 a year, essentially, on gacha games, and that's still money that I really wish that I wouldn't have had, because then you break that down, and then you're getting to like $5 to $10 a month, essentially, on average, that you're going to gacha games, which technically isn't bad, like, it's in comparison to other people, but it's not good financially, so yeah. With that being said, that's how I end up feeling about the box overall, and how all these systems are going. Gameplay-wise, as you can see from all the other videos that are up on YouTube, I've had lots of fun so far. Lots of fun indeed. I do think Heal Guards and adding strides, while they actually prolong the game, it's not like Legion where nothing, or you just couldn't do anything. Now strides and Heal Guards make it feel like, oh, I can actually fight back a bit. And while games are kind of even longer than Legion, it feels like I'm being more interactive and more things are happening, so it's not nearly as bad going in. And that's how I truly feel about the gameplay overall. And even the presentation is pretty good, as you can see from all the changes made here, you know, to card capital and everything. Although it does suck that we don't have the live 2D models anymore, this overall is really nice. It just looks nice. You can actually customize the backgrounds into different orders, which is also really cool. But with that being said, I think I'm going to end up leaving it there. Overall conclusion, I know this is mostly just me rambling, but Zero G's update is fun gameplay-wise. Visually, it's also rather nice, and it's pretty much everything that I could really possibly want the game to be, except for the game is still really not free to play. And unlike before, where you could kind of really get lucky with, you know, getting all the cards that you need, now it's a kind of a bit harder with the box in some regards. I don't know, it just depends on how you look at it, because you might have to, I mean, but then again, you know, I was spending like 100 plus packs in the game, and pulling literally like maybe 1 or 2 cards I wanted on almost every set that I spent that much on. So, you know, what do I know, right? You know, this is basically technically way better for me as well. Plus, you get a lot more pulls more often. And, but yeah, with that being said, all of the changes are really good. I've been really enjoying the G update overall. If only they would go in and, you know, give us more, and please just give us generic G packs if that's what you're planning on doing. Just say, alright, you get your G packs and then you get your old packs, and then be like, fine, let's do that. I hate it, but fine. But no, they're just being like, no, we're just going to be really stingy. And even like, because if you look at the VP farm, because I guess, you know, let me divert real quick. You only get, if you get to the 1 million, you only get 14 G packs through your VP grinding, up to 1 million. Plus, you know, if you get more, you get every 100k more, you get an extra 1 pack. But it's only because I've been really trying hard, because I usually don't get to 1 million. It's usually like 600,000 to 700,000 I play, you know, because I have a life. And, you know, unfortunately, that means I don't get to grind to the top, you know, amount that much. But that means if I don't grind to 1 million, that means I'm only getting 4 G packs, because they also put in original series packs into the VP. Now, of course, when this stuff comes to global, like usual, this will probably be alleviated a lot. We'll probably get a lot more gems, probably get a lot more packs, and honestly, I'll probably switch back to global when that happens. Because this is the cycle we go. When a big thing happens, I play JP for like a month or so, at least until that big update gets to English, and then I'll start over again in English, where we have more resources. And it's also really cool to see, you know, how things end up going. Although I do find it kind of sad. They're like, no, we're gonna milk Japan, but global, y'all have fun. You know, y'all can just go have fun. You know, here's like you can actually viably, you know, do stuff, because right now getting packs in English is way easier in JP. But if we keep up the amount of like gems and packs we get right now in English and add these new updates, it'll pretty much be fine. But the fact that we can also craft triple rares and below relatively easily now, like you're getting 2 to maybe even 3 triple rares consistently a month, and that's just awesome. Because before you kind of struggled to get like 1.5 triple rares worth in a month while playing completely for free. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna call it there for a second time. As always, this is how the videos go. I ramble and I give my thoughts, and I hope that you guys end up enjoying everything. You know, when this comes to global, I will definitely be playing it, and I don't know how to do an outro, so I'm just gonna end up ending it there. Thank you guys for watching. Keep playing the games you want to play, and as always, have fun.